Welcome to East Alabama Today, featuring topics, events, and interesting people from all over East Alabama. Hosted by Carl Brady. Now, let's get right to the show. Here's Carl Brady.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. Thank you so much for being with us on our program today. As always, we'll start you off with some contact information so you know how to get in touch with me if you have an idea for our show. And what we want you to do is simply send me an email, cbrady@tv24.tv. That's the best way to get in touch with me. If you have things going on in your community and in your neck of the woods, you're our eyes and ears out on the street. You guys are how we know what's going on in the community. So feel free to send me emails about all of the great things that are happening with your church group, your community organization, your neighborhood, things like that. Let me know what's going on. We also want to know about the interesting people who live in your community. Maybe you know someone who's a writer, an artist, or a musician. Maybe they have an odd or an interesting hobby and you think they'd be a great guest for the program as well. That's exactly who we want to know about. So send me emails about those folks as well. cbrady@tv24.tv. And if you happen to miss an episode of the show, or you'd just like to go back and review some information, very simple. Just go to our website, tv24.tv, go to the on-demand section, and look for East Alabama Today. There you'll see a whole series of East Alabama Today shows that you can catch up on. We've got a great show coming up for you today, so we want you to hang out with us, and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back into East Alabama Today. Again, I'm Carl Brady. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. Over the last few weeks, we have been featuring local nonprofit organizations who have gone through the process of becoming certified with Standards for Excellence. And that's a program that certifies these organizations. They go through special training, they certifications. We're going to tell you all about it and let you meet these organizations that recently went through this process here in East Alabama. And I understand there's a whole large group of additional organizations that are taking part in it right now, hoping to get certified with the Standards for Excellence really soon. But today we're going to be talking with the Public Education Foundation of Anniston. We have Wanda Osborne with us. Welcome to the program. Thank you for being here with us.
Glad to be here.
And Mr. Bruce Jameson.
Carl, thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us as well. And we'll talk about the Standards for Excellence as we get into the program and what that has meant for your organization. But first, introduce us to your organization, the Public Education Foundation of Anniston. Give us the basic guidelines of who you are.
Thank you. The Public Education Foundation, most people in the Anniston area probably remember it as Next Start. We had a name change. And what the Public Education Foundation does, we support the 7 schools in the Anniston City School System by providing resources, volunteers, mentors, after-school programs, anything that we can do that's going to enhance our students. And we've been in, with 501c3, have been there since 1993.
Oh, wow.
And we have a lot of programs that's going on in the school system. One of our main programs is the volunteer program, and we still call that the Next Start Volunteer Program, where we recruit individuals from the community, from businesses, local colleges, so Jacksonville State, Talladega have all been involved with us, the local churches and all, and to volunteer in the schools. You know, people would be surprised at the little things that you could do in the school system. Maybe just answering the phone sometime, or Xeroxing some material for a teacher who might need some extra paperwork or something for her students. Volunteering to help out in the concession stands at the football games and the basketball games or whatever might be going on. And just different things. Maybe when they have different activities, they may need some parents there just to be present. And one of the things at the high school that we were getting recruit male volunteers for was to just have a male to stand around at lunchtime. because a lot of the children do not have that male figure at home. But to see that man dressed there and dressed appropriately and everything, it starts a conversation, and that helps a lot. And one of our main volunteer programs has been in existence for over 12 years now. It's called the Class Act Program, where we have dedicated people who are at the Anniston Middle School every Tuesday morning.
Wow.
From 8 to 9 a.m. They're teaching character education. They're teaching drug abuse, how to avoid the problems that our kids are facing today. We have a curriculum designed for this. The 6th graders use a book that they use every year, but the 7th and 8th graders, we have different DVDs with curriculums to really address the problems that our young people are facing today. And these are dedicated people, and for the past 2 to 3 years, the National Guard there in Anniston has become very involved. I mean, they even come on the days other than Tuesday to give special attention to the kids that may be there in in-school suspension or the alternative school. They're coming there with them. So we have a lot going on.
Certainly do.
I think it's important, Carl, too, to point out with the volunteer program, 2 very important aspects of that. One, every volunteer has to go through a background check. So we make sure that good people are getting into the school system so the parents can rest easy with that. I think another interesting point to be made is that this saves the school system tens of thousands of dollars. If you took those volunteers and the school had to pay them by the hour to come in and do the programs that they're doing with the hours, it adds up to tens of thousands of dollars every year. So it's a very good benefit financially to the school as well.
Absolutely. Now, how did the foundation come about? You said what, 92?
93.
Or 93? What was the genesis of the organization?
As far as I know, because I wasn't around, well, I was around in Anniston, but not working with the program, it was to help the kids, help the students and everything, to get volunteers. The number one program they had then is the volunteer program, where they were coming in just teaching character education and doing things like that. But we have expanded to so many other programs now. And one of them that came out of the Next Start, because at that time we were getting money from the city to give out scholarships to students. And one of our students was Kevin Thompson, who received, I think a lot of people know about Kevin. And what we started 4 years ago was a Kevin Thompson Teachers Project at Anniston High School. It was a suggestion by the principal, Dr. Sharon Gennaro, to see how many, we have up to 12 students, have openings for up to 12 students who think they might want to become educators. And so we prepare them starting 11th and 12th grade if they're selected to be into this program. We work with Jacksonville State University, who provides an adjunct professor who is a retired teacher from the Anniston City School System. And they teach the students the importance of education. The first semester dedicated to what it is to be an educator, what's involved in all of that. The second semester, they're actually out in the other schools doing observations.
Oh, wow.
And the students are dual enrolled with Jack State. Public Education Foundation pays their tuition. So they're getting 6 hours credit from Jacksonville State and 1 hour credit from Anniston High School.
And getting an early start on the potential career for them. That's awesome.
Gives them an opportunity to see if they really do want to be a teacher, or expose them to the opportunity of being a teacher.
And it's been proven very successful, because this is our 4th year. Out of all of those students, I think it's only 5 that decided that they did not want to become teachers.
Wow.
Yeah, so and their goal is that maybe when they graduate, they'll come back and work in the Anniston City School System.
Yeah, absolutely. Always you want those kids to come back, if at all possible. Sounds like you guys are doing some tremendous work. We're talking about the volunteers. How do people volunteer? If people want to be a part of it, how do they get involved?
They can come by my office or either go by the schools, because the parent coordinators have applications. We have an application process that they fill out, and like Bruce said, we do a background check on all of them. We do orientation. We have a volunteer policy. We have a orientation for them so they know what their rights and privileges are as they go into the schools, and they're not there to discipline the children. They're just there to do what they're supposed to do. and the rest of the responsibility is up to the staff at the school. And it's proven to be very successful. And right now, this year, I'm happy to say that Donahoe, one of the local schools there in Anniston, they have been sending, I think we have about 20 students who comes down to Golden Springs Elementary School and working with the kids in math and reading. And so right now, I think we have about 125 volunteers on roll for this school term.
But, you know, and that's not a totally unique situation, but I'm seeing it more and more of having older kids from a middle school or a high school go to an elementary school and work with these kids. And I think you're seeing tremendous results in both levels. The elementary school kids are in awe of these high school kids, and then the high school kids are learning some valuable skills in just teaching and reading to and helping out the elementary kids.
You don't have to be an adult to be a mentor.
That's true.
True.
Peer mentors is very important.
Speaking of mentoring, that's one of the programs that you do as well on top of the Class Act. You have a mentoring program.
Right. We have, in the past, the teachers, if they have certain students they feel like they might need some special mentoring, they let me know, the principals, whatever, and we search the community and see if we can find a proper match for that. This is where a lot of the local businesses have got, well, some of the businesses have gotten involved. Alabama Power is very good at that. Eastman is very good at that at one of our local schools. So we have mentors, and then we have some of the churches that come in, and then, like we said, just some of the seniors at high school that have mentored some of the kids in elementary school.
We need to take a quick commercial break, so we'll do that right now and be back in just a moment as we continue talking about the Public Education Foundation of Anniston here on East Alabama Today. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back into East Alabama Today. We are talking with the Public Education Foundation of Anniston, a nonprofit agency, about the things that they do for Anniston City Schools and the students in Anniston schools. And we're also going to talk about the Standards for Excellence. They recently went through the Standards for Excellence certification program. We're going to talk about what that has meant to them. But talking more about your programs and the things that you do, you have a Teen Leadership Council. Tell me about the Teen Leadership Council.
The Teen Leadership Council is for the ninth graders at the Ninth Grade Academy at Anniston High School. We partnership with Second Chance. It started about 3 or 4 years ago. And we're the only school in the county that they have selected to work with to have this organization, where we have up to 15 students that are chosen by the ninth grade teachers, and they go through a leadership course. They are selected because they seem to have the characteristics of being a good leader. And then we have Miss Brittany Waters, who is the advisor for the group from the school. We have local colleges that come in and teach them about leadership and things of this nature. They go through an induction ceremony, and they do community service projects and doing little posters. And last year they were doing little segments on the announcements for the morning announcements through the TV and everything, talking about different things too. And they serve like a mentor for the other students. Right.
And developing leadership skills is something that is important because many of these kids are going to get out into the community after they graduate and they go to college, or they're going to come back, and they are our future leaders. They're going to be city councilmen. They're going to be business leaders in the community, and getting them started early is important.
It is good. And other than the programs that we've listed so far, I'd like to talk a little bit about the fundraising that we've done and how we've helped the school with some of that as well. And the Standards of Excellence is certainly going to be a big factor in helping us raise more money for that. But during 2013, not everybody has to go to college to have a successful career.
Right.
And being someone who's run a local business in Anniston, I know how difficult it is to get an electrician and to get a plumber and to get a welder and so forth. And working together with the city council, getting the school board to work together, and getting private benefactors together, we were able to raise, through our organization, $350,000 for technology, where we got the kids computers and smart boards and clickers for the classrooms for the 21st Century program. And then after that, we also said, okay, what is that we need on the career tech side of the program, where we used to call it VOTech when I was going to school.
Right, that
career
was
tech today.
Yeah.
And we did the survey, and well, we need welders and so forth. So we were able to raise another $150,000 of money, where we put in new computers in the office training programs, got in a welding program, and we now offer scholarships for people that come from private people through the organization to send people to welding school and so forth. So there's more to it than just running our programs as well. And that's why I think this show is going to be very important to us, so that the people out there listening to your show, to this show, can understand that there's a lot more that we can do and a lot more that they can do to help us achieve those things.
Absolutely. And since you mentioned career tech, I love career tech programs. Except back when we were in school, it was called VOTech, and a lot of times it was a place that kids were shuffled off if they were considered not smart enough to go to college. They were just shuffled into that program. But now, the career tech programs, they're learning high-tech electronics and electrical engineering, welding, and these kids are going to graduate from these career tech programs and go right straight into good-paying jobs. Absolutely. And they already know how to do the job. They're already trained, and that's a big deal for the economy as well, because a potential employer coming into the community looks at those kind of things.
Right. In fact, Governor Bentley, he's a big supporter of this program, because he knows that if he wants to bring new industry into our area, you have to have a workforce to be able to support that new industry.
That's right.
Giving them a tax break and giving them property and so forth, that's just part of it. They have to have a good workforce, a skilled workforce.
Absolutely.
And then with our career tech program at Anniston High, I think it's over 13 different careers. They have the CNA for the nursing. They have a cosmetology department that is out of sight. Okay, women can come get the hair done, get the nail done. And then with the welding department, I just want to put this plug in for the welding department. They're making benches. They're selling benches, any kind of bench that you want. They're making it and any design that you want. The kids are doing all that. The designs on the computers. In fact, I bought 2 for my yards. All you have to do is contact the Anniston High School Welding Department, and they can do signs for your offices. They can do anything that you want to do.
Nice.
Through the agency, like Mr. Jameson was saying, through the $150,000 we got all the computers and all the stuff that they need to do this modern tech. And I want to tell, if anyone is listening out there, the girls, they're needing girls in welding, because we found out at our recent meeting that a lot of the employers would like to employ girls because they seem to pay more attention to details.
I can see that.
Yeah, so there are job openings for females in welding.
Absolutely.
That's interesting. Let's talk about scholarships a little bit, because time's going to get away from us if we don't. Scholarship availabilities through the foundation, how does that work?
Well, like his family, for instance, and we have another family that they just send the money through us. They make the selections and everything, and we just write the checks for them. He has one for his brother in welding.
I have one for a brother in welding. I have one for my brother. I consider Kevin Thompson. My contributions to that program or to support a brother that is a retired school teacher. The welding program supports a brother, recognizes a brother who is a retired factory laborer and welder. And then I have a scholarship for the academic side for a brother who passed away 5 years ago. So, and the process is a professionally run process. They have to fill out the forms, they have to send us the tax reports and so forth. And a lot of the kids that are valedictorians or really, really great students, they're the ones that get the scholarships from the schools and so forth. We focus on the young people who they've had a tough childhood and they're pulling themselves out of a situation where they're living with a grandparent or they're living in a place that doesn't have good running water and hot water and so forth. When you read these essays these kids put together, it just touches your heart, and you just wish you had a lot more scholarships to offer. But these kids, when we give out these scholarships, they're being successful. We have the scholarships set up in such a way where we can track their success. They send a report into Wander saying they're registered for the next school year or the next school semester, and she writes a check directly to the school, to their account, that they can use for the bookstore and so forth. And we've had one student, one of the first ones, we've written check number 10. So that tells us that they're very close to graduating, and the money's being put to good use. So I thank the organization for allowing us to channel the scholarships through them.
That sounds great. Let's talk about Standards for Excellence before we go. The Standards for Excellence program is a great way for potential donors and supporters of your organization to know that they are working with a well-run organization that is accountable in many, many different ways, and they can be confident in the work they're doing with the organization or the donation that they're making to your organization. Talk about what that Standards for Excellence certification has meant to you guys.
I haven't been a business leader and so forth. You always have a well-run organization with documents and procedures and policies and so forth. And we always felt that we were a very, very well-run organization at Public Education Foundation. The Standards of Excellence process showed us that there's a lot of things that we needed to review in our policies and update our handbooks and so forth, and going through their auditing procedures and so forth, and realizing that we need to have a better system of how we handle checks when they come in the mail, and there's accountability all the way across the line, as making us a much better organization, much stronger organization. It reveals that we need to be more transparent with the board of directors, that the board of directors have a better understanding of these policies, and that they're exposed to those policies and they're trained to these policies. Also, when we have people that work in the office, like Wander and whoever's be volunteering there, they have a question on that. They can go to the policy and the manual, and they know it's going to be done, how it's supposed to be done, and it's done correctly. And I think when you have that system in place, it makes it easier then for someone to go out and say, we want to solicit some funding to come in to help pay for the Career Tech program or whatever the needs of the school system is. And they can feel as though the money has accountability, has traceability. We now have systems in place where we can say, here's the money that came in, here's where it was targeted for, here's how it was spent, and your money was put to good use. And all that does is build confidence for people to want to invest more money in the future. And they're not investing in the Education Foundation, they're investing in the future of our students.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to note also that none of that money is used for administration. It's all passed right through. We show it as a pass-through account, and it goes right pass through. And when we solicit money for a targeted program, it is held in that account for that program.
Yeah. All right, we need to take another commercial break. We'll come back and wrap things up in just a moment. So stay with us here on East Alabama Today. Welcome back for our final segment of East Alabama Today. We've been talking with the Public Education Foundation of Anniston. And if you would like more information on the organization, how to get in touch with them, those kind of things, I wonder what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
They can come by the office, call us. We're located at 1302 Noble Street, Suite 3E in the Lyric Square building and in Anniston, or they can call us 256-237-0053. Or if you don't do that, you can just go by any of the schools. If you're in the area and say, hey, I need to speak to that lady that's over the education program, they all know who I am, and they'll get in contact with me.
And the website's a great resource as well, pefanniston.org. Very well done website with a lot of information on the website. Yes. If you want further detail about all the programs that we talked about today, you can find all those programs and all the details on the website. And to keep up with things as well, they do have a Facebook page. So easiest thing to do is just when you're on Facebook, go up to your search bar and search for the Public Education Foundation of Anniston, and you can see all the information there as well. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us on the program today. It's been a pleasure to have both of you with us today. And folks, it's been a pleasure to have you as well. I hope you'll join us again next time for East Alabama Today.